All right, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, Day 60. So, once again, there are no updates on these items. I still don't have the updated date for the next hearing, but I guess that's postponed it even more. I guess it's been almost a month since the last hearing, so yeah, I guess they could almost put it into the fall. All right. Hello, Robert. How was your day? Pretty good today. I think I am actually basically done. All the fixes to the block mining simulation game. I thought about it today. There's some more optimizations I could do and some refactoring and stuff, but in the interest of getting something published, I will probably do a release in the next few days. Let's pull the latest. It is very hot here. We're in the middle of like a heat wave. I use Makefile with combination with Maven. Is that bad? I guess not necessarily. I guess even actually, if you look at my output here, is it okay? If I scroll up in my own output here, I'm using Maven, and there you go. This here is I'm using a Maven project that actually calls a Makefile and runs and compiles this shared object library. So it is something you can do. There's probably better and worse ways to do it. Galactic Past says, "Hello, Robert. How's it going?" Yeah, I'll show you that's the parent POM. Okay, down here. Yeah, so in I think I actually should change this because this when I do the build, it seems to run this multiple times, and I also had to when I imported this into when I was running it on the command line, it was fine, but then I found when I first started trying to build this in IntelliJ, it wouldn't work because what I discovered was that by default, like the default way of running stuff in IntelliJ, it only runs certain Maven life cycles. So then I discovered that I had to change the life cycle that it ran on render and change the build command. But anyway, this is on GitHub. So if you look for look into one of the POM files for the core block mining simulation core. This is how I'm doing it. I'm not 100% sure if this is the best practice, but back to the grind. Feels like an IRL episode of Pinky and the Brain. Yeah, you gotta stay dedicated at it. The world wasn't conquered in a day back when Rome did it. Yeah, it was a bit of work to figure out how to do this. I think what was it? I think Ant or Gradle or something is another thing people recommend, but I don't don't really have time to learn that. Effectively, this year, this is just running like a literal command. It's just so whatever you type here, it's just like what you type on the command line. And same thing for this. So this is just running. This is just a the full path. On some machines, I have multiple Java versions, so I'm just running this command line thing with these arguments. 4 a.m. If I had no job, I'd be in for it. Is it 4 a.m. where you are? Hello there. I just got my CCNA. About to go work as a network admin, as a dev. Cool. I know you said you were in school before, so I guess you got a job lined up. Coding away and trying not to burn the world in the process. Gradle is pretty dope. I've never used it, but I've seen a bunch of things where I try to Google how to do something in Maven and then like do it in Gradle. I think he's trying to contain his mind in coding so he will not overtake the world. Yeah, I need an outlet for my labors. You have C++ in your Java code base? Yes. It was necessary to let's see, it's in SRC. So there's some Java and also some C++. And that was necessary for this here. So this function is not offered by Java. There's no API for it. There apparently was, but it's like deprecated, and even if you like try to undeprecate it, it doesn't really work. It's not portable. Which makes sense, I guess, because Java is supposed to be platform independent. And I guess the idea is they didn't want to have operating system specific stuff. And thus, if you want to do stuff that hooks into the operating system, then the accepted approach is to do some kind of foreign function interface. What kind of intergalactic overlord are you? 60 days to dominate puny little world like this? Best of luck. Thank you. Robert will drop our trapped souls into a volcano like Xenu if we're not careful. Now I'll be a nice dictator. How did you integrate that into Java? I wanted to do that for a long time. So if you want the technical specs on it, you can check the repo. But the TLDR is, so here's the C code. And so this file here is generated. So let's see, when I do so this command here is it that command or is it a different one? Yeah, I think it's this one. So I think this Linux block JNI interface. So this command is really one of the magic ones. So and you can actually just run this manually on the command line, but to make it part of the Java build process, so you have to figure out how to get it into Maven. But if you want, you can just do it You could just like copy and paste this as one line command, run it on the command line, and then do run this make. And then this here is the make file. So this builds the shared object, and it builds it into the Java target directory, target classes. Yeah, so I think it's been a while since I did this, but basically this is the real magic that kind of hooks it together. So it ends up building from this. It ends up, I guess this native keyword is some magic thing, and then this by running that command I just showed in the POM file, this will generate the necessary C code, and then to actually get the library. There's a couple of ways you can load library. One is to actually have a flag here just for testing. So if I just run it externally, I can just compile it and reference it externally, and then you can from that you can do. Oh yeah, it says system.load library. That's one way to do it. But if you want it if I want it packaged inside the jar file, there's just another way. You have to basically extract it at runtime. You have to extract it from the jar, and then I create a temp file and load it from there. How's it going? By the way, how are your plans for World Domination? Do you have a roadmap yet? I'm working on it. I'm trying to get the next release of this out. 9 more days. Getting excited. Oh yeah, it'll be day 69. What are we gonna do tonight? Same thing we do every night. Try and take over the world. Work on the block mining simulation game. I bet I could program for 30 days in a row, then I'd have to stop. I've been doing it for 10 years without profit. That's a long time. There's real joy to be had when you're not aiming for profit. I'm still aiming for profit. But I also have, I also want to make stuff that actually works, and it's not a pile of garbage. And that's one of the issues. Every place that I worked at, they're like, just enough to like barely. Honestly, it's not even good in the long run. I find you end up working on stuff just enough to like untangle a rat's nest, and then you get switched off the project after, so you don't even get a chance to clean up the code. And if they just kept things maintained, it would be so much faster to add features. But just check that in the repo. Don't want to take your time, so you can take over the world. By the way, skies in Jordan are now full of rockets. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on over there. But I mean, as far as I understand, Jordan is really, it seems like a more relaxed, one of the more relaxed places, fairly like it seems fairly neutral as far as the Middle East goes. Although I think Jordan was also helping to intercept some of the missiles. Honestly, even when no money is being made, being your own boss is better than taking orders. Yes, that is absolutely true. I should know how to code and hack. I'll have to just break into things, just look at stuff I'm not supposed to. Wouldn't even mess with it or anything. I think like actual hacking, there's a lot of, like in movies and stuff, they make it it's all about like, it's very, very dramatized, but most like actual hacking is just like fuzz testing things and finding 0 days and stuff, and to actually do the kind of things like the hacking that you see in movies, the amount of time it takes to actually perpetrate one of those is massive. And these days it's like it almost requires like nation state level resources. Like you need a team of programmers working 24/7 to find 0 days and stuff. And I mean, at that point, it's well, actually, like criminal organizations put quite a bit of work into it if there's some ROI to be had from it. Be careful doing that. That's how a lot of people wind up arrested. Yeah, I think a long time ago, like in the 1990s or something, I think you could just like, you could connect to like NASA's servers and stuff and probe around and stuff. But I think these days it's anything you can hack into with any level of ease is probably doesn't, maybe like a remote viewing webcam or something, or like a traffic camera somewhere. But and I think these days it's with so much like bot hacking, I think anything that's an easy target is going to get compromised pretty fast. I think anyone who has the expertise to actually do that kind of stuff is probably not doing it outside of the law. They're probably doing it like on behalf of a company, or like I'm sure if you in those big like skyscrapers at like Amazon, Facebook, IBM, Intel, all those places, the kind of people who are like working late, at 9 p.m. on a Friday and stuff, a lot of those people have the capabilities to hack into stuff and do all like the movie level hacking, but they're just employed at jobs, and they since they deal with it every day, it's not really interesting to them. Have you thought of running some AI topic index on your streams to make chapters evergreen, findable in search? Might be worth the effort to supplement the algo. Yeah, I have been thinking about doing something like that, to use like AI to go back through the previous streams, because now there's like actually a body of content. I have too much stuff on the go. I need to like finish some of the things I'm working on. I think we'll do some testing tonight, but I think I may be at a releasable milestone. So I'll release this, and then I can I still have to do taxes, actually. I was getting through taxes, and then I was working on it a bit every day, and I stopped working on that to finish this up. In the SaaS industry, I found the core of code is complexity lost within miles of duct tape fixes. Yeah, it's a lot of the code. I mean, a lot of the code is the design of the code is like driven by the demands of the company, which are often just like impressing. It's just getting to the next round of investment, and there seems to be no sincere desire to like build anything long-term maintainable. And a lot of times they're not even like not every piece of code needs to be perfect. Some code is just an experiment, but I find a lot of times in companies you'll write stuff, a product, as a business experiment that might be throwaway, but then they don't even collect the data. So they'll build something internally, never release it, so they don't get customer feedback or knowledge, and then it's just shut down, and that's it. Israel got a total ceasefire just like an hour ago. Wow, that's good if that materializes. Yeah, I don't know. I heard they Iran did like a kind of like a symbolic strike on some U.S. base or something, but like all the missiles were shot down, and it was not really a real attack. But it would be kind of nice if they just like chill out, and then for the next few years, if we could just have like no more pandemics, no more wars, we could just go back to the good old days. Should not have to check Snopes to see if the world is ending. I heard something about cease being fake. Yeah, that's the thing with ceasefires. There's like, I don't know how many times we've seen like the Russia-Ukraine war, there was many ceasefires, and then Trump apparently made some deal with Kim Jong-un, and then that never materialized, and everyone's just creating ceasefires and breaking them. And mainstream news gets duped a lot. Mainstream news is becoming less and less relevant. Trump apparently said it. I'll believe it when I see it hold for 6 months. Because having a ceasefire seems like the perfect pretext to ramp up an attack. And there's also the other wild cards are other countries have interests. Because it's not just about Israel and Iran. You have to think about what's China thinking right now? What's Russia thinking? Do you hear about the dude that faked a story about hackers hacking? It got recycled so much it was 100% fake. I did not hear that story. It's not the kind of news that interests me. Nearly every short-term solution becomes a permanent solution. Pre-2001 days were golden. Yeah. Or even even back early 2000s was still pretty good. Honestly, up until about 2015, I was in school from 2009 to 14, and then I graduated. There was about 1 year of good time after that, and then everything went downhill. Reuters is reporting ceasefire. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was whenever I followed these conflicts, there's almost always a ceasefire announced. I think haven't Russia and Ukraine had several ceasefires by now? I'm pretty sure since 2014 they've done at least probably 6 ceasefires. What do you mean for world domination? I figured if I could just build a brand new society and then build some housing and then fix all the problems that we have in society, it'd be a good idea to start a campaign for world domination. I'm going to start a new country up in the high Arctic, build a new deep water port there. As soon as I get a nice big super chat, I need to raise at least 12 billion. And then I think I can get my new country started. Things really changed after the towers. I guess probably in the US. Personally, I didn't experience that much change firsthand around that time. I guess I was in high school at the time. Do you enjoy listening to music? Are there any songs you'd recommend to a novice? I don't know. Songs to recommend depends on your taste. Not off the top of my head. Good luck, ma'am. Man. Thank you. I'd settle for a cult. Some people have suggested that I should start a cult, but I don't think cults are kind of lame. They always end the same way. I don't think they're very scalable. I remember seeing it as a child. I remember hearing about it in when I was in grade 9. It was in French class or something. That was an interesting day. Shock and awe was my 8th birthday. That was Shock and awe. That I can't remember what country that was. Iraq or something, was it? I don't really remember that one. I walked in and Sky News were showing it live. Not something they should have broadcast. Cults are in fact lame. This is why you need to start a mining company and use that to power project across various countries. Yeah, I mean that's I'm ahead of you on that. That's why I got the block mining game. I think if we can first master the art of simulating mining, then we can eventually go for the real thing. So let's test out some stuff in the game. So I think, so last night I discovered a new bug with the help menu not disappearing. And then I woke up, I was thinking about maybe just being like, whatever, it only happens in certain orientations. So I was thinking that maybe I'll just release that. It's close enough. And then, but this morning I thought, you know what, there's probably a thing I can do to fix it. And then I ended up looking around and debugging. And I found a couple really significant bugs with how the layers are merged. Or I guess how the user interface frames. There was a couple of events, like because of the help menu is special, there was a couple of events for resizing that were not getting sent to it properly. So I fixed that, and then I also fixed another significant issue with how some of the events are sent out to frames. So those were really good bugs to fix. And I think it's working pretty good, but I have to test it because every time I fix a bug, I'll think, oh, that's great. Well, actually, fixing that bug, it also broke the help menu in one case. Just got to make sure my fixes do not cause regressions. Actually, maybe we should start over. World is so different nowadays. Hard to keep up with the times. Yeah, it seems like more and more is happening faster and faster. Some people say it's because we have access to news, but I don't know. I think things really are kind of heating up and getting crazy. It's like we didn't have, from the 1980s or 70s till early 2000s, we didn't have any like pandemics or anything. That was a big deal. And like massive housing affordability crises, and if you can simulate it, you can automate the machinery and be able to do it. Only problem is you need land and security. Yeah, that's what the super chats are for. Once I get a bunch of big super chats, then once I get my 12 billion, then I can just buy up a bunch of land and set up some mining claims. Look at your GitHub. I'd like to see the game run. Have you played all the roguelikes? I haven't actually played any of them. Actually, I'm not even 100% sure what the definition of roguelike is. I know there is Gmod games where it's a text interface where it'll say like you entered this dungeon and this and that, and there's a lot of like reading. Those types of games just never appeal to me. Anything with a lot of reading, I don't have an interesting. We literally saw things like YouTube and Facebook come from absolute nothing to now. Crazy times. Yeah, YouTube is, I was a big consumer of YouTube early on. It's kind of crazy how big it is now. It's basically like replaced most traditional media. And I guess for some people, a lot of people barely watch YouTube. They watch TikTok all the time. Rogue was a great text-based adventure. Used to play it on a VT100. Nice. So I think I fixed the weird text wrapping bugs. Nice. That's looking pretty good. I guess I'm still actually lacking some features. So if you want to put the inventory back on the bottom, you can't anymore once you close it, because there's no way to actually I was going to implement something to like open V splits and H splits, but I don't have time, and I think this is a good bit of progress. Is this supposed to be similar to Noita? I've not heard of that game before. The primary defining feature of this game is it's played in the terminal. So it's just an infinite grid of blocks, and there's actually the game loop is the simplest possible game loop. I've put almost no effort at all into the game loop. It's really kind of almost like a prototype. I'm tempted to almost call it like a game engine, because I'm not super interested in like the narrative design of games. But I think it is something that as I go I could like it. I think if the game engine is good, building some narrative into it incrementally over time is, I think, fairly easy. But there's some fundamental features that I think it needs. A significant one is multiplayer. There's also some really bad. I did a lot of work to improve the latency, but it's still quite bad, in my opinion. And I'd like to make the there's actually still a bunch of UI bugs for certain terminals, and I would like to fix some of those. I think it is time to have crafting added into the game. So crafting does exist. So you press the C key to craft. So right now, if you notice my what it does. There's only 3 crafting recipes. One is stone pick. You're gonna get a wood pick, stone pick, and iron pick. So you just hold down the C key, and it'll automatically craft if you have the items available. And eventually I can make like another frame where you can actually have you can, like, select items and put them in a crafting table or something like that, but that does not exist yet. Rogue was turn-based. Random gen dungeon. Character classes, stores, random D&D style monsters. But it drew one frame each turn in text. Yeah, text-based games, like games where you have to read text, I'm not a huge fan of. Equals or balls. Letters and numbers, upper lowercase, alpha characters. Yeah, I was kind of thinking I should, maybe another feature in the game would be like something that like allows you to actually just hover. So you could hover over something. Like if you have like a explanation frame, but it would allow you to like put a question mark over things, and over here would just explain what it is you're looking at. Because I think once you understand what a block represents, the immersion of it is a lot easier to get into. But if you don't know what you're looking at and what everything represents, then it's incomprehensible. Wayment. Day 60 for Wayment. That's interesting. It's the same. Seems like it's the same group of several users who all come in at the same time and provide memes about Wayment. And what was that other? Some other meme they had. Castle of Winds. Vietnam flashbacks. Is that a game? Castle of the Winds? Hello from a sleep-deprived Serb. How's it going? It must be late over there, or I guess early morning. NetHack, I think a couple people have mentioned that before. I think I actually wrote it down, although one issue I have is that after stream, I completely forget every conversation I've had during stream. It's all right. I'll probably study later on. Love your videos. Excellent. Hopefully you learn some stuff from them. Interesting, that's a bug. I'm pressing M, and it's mining the block below, See, is that a chunk loading issue? This is not the greatest code, which is not surprising it has bugs in it. If I have a pick selected and it's mining the block underneath, then I guess it bugs out. Cool part of roguelikes is using the imagination to draw a scene with your own mind, in essence prompted by the characters on the screen. Rogue is not a reading game at all. Does it have like stuff drawn with characters? Like the one, I think it was Gmuds or something, I looked up back in the day, and it was just like the stuff I saw was all reading, but I didn't see any like attempt to represent stuff with like text graphics or anything. I guess I'll have to make a note to look these up for research of what exists. Have you guys seen the game Cogmind? It's a pretty neat roguelike. I'll have to come back to this conversation and Google some of those. Now that I'm looking at this code, I kind of wonder, how did it work before? This is very poor quality code, but I'll refactor it later. It's not a super important case. Like Adventure or Zork. First thing that comes to mind when I think of text games is the Hobbit game. Nice, that is now working. Now, hopefully this is not broke. Oh, look, it is. Oh wait, no, it's not. Okay, that case works. And this case works. Drippy Cat says, hi there, how's it going? Rogue was played on the mainframe games file in my case at CU in Boulder. This was about when Defender came out in arcades in the early 80s. Rogue was like low res, poor man's Ultima. Interesting. I don't even know. I'll have to do some research. I feel compelled to do some research on these things because I don't even know. I don't know Ultima and I don't know Rogue. But in a way, I think it's also I'm kind of sheltered on a lot of things. I have no exposure to a lot of these cultural things, so I guess being in a total vacuum will it's kind of good not to be exposed to stuff, so I can just make some completely original stuff. Are those custom text characters? These are standard emoji characters. These are just like regular Unicode characters. I think they come from the font. It might be like Noto emoji or something. Better stop procrastinating. Take it easy. Have a good day. My fans are running wild tonight. let's try resetting, just to make sure I don't break everything. Being in a cultural vacuum does not force you to be creative. It forces you to be original. I mean, it doesn't necessarily force you, but it means that you will create something original. Have you heard of Leos Labs and its algorithm archive? You'd like his stuff? MIT doc. Speaking of fans running, how hot was it in the Kitchener area the past couple of days? I think it was like 32 or 33 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is. Not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. But it wasn't too bad yesterday. Someone emailed me and mentioned the heat wave, and I was like, oh, I didn't really know what they were talking about, because the building it's like a big old cement building, and so it has a lot of thermal mass in it. And then when it goes from being cool to heating up, it takes like a couple days before the feeling of the heat really sinks in. And it's kind of starting to warm up today. So we've had 2 days of pretty hot weather. He's trying to get each algo in all computer languages. That would be a lot of work. Hi, can I get a shout out? I'm a big fan. How's it going? Crim Exine. And algorithm archive on the org site. Great compendium of code. Interesting. That honestly, that would be kind of a good candidate for like AI-based work, like asking an AI to port the code. Like first, to get a lot of unit tests, and you could probably standardize it with like you could have your test harness could read and write to a file, so you could just output standardize the code so it writes the results to a file like JSON format or something, and then in one language write the test harness, and you can ask the AI like port this merge sort to this language and that language, and then you could just like kind of fine tune it, copy and paste your code into a few different AIs and say like, find the bug in this program. I love your rock video. Excellent. Yeah, it's that one's trending again, which is good. I forget how many views it's at now. It's probably like, it was at least 11 million last time I looked at it. Wait till you see his animation engine. Sounds like an impressive developer. Glad to share. ZZ Top. That's a band, isn't it, from the 1980s or something? They have that one song like Sharp Suit Man. Oh, that's, I didn't notice that was you're referring to that other user with that name. The actual ZZ Top band checking out your stream would be a funny experience. Yeah, when he said glad to share ZZ Top, I couldn't figure out what he was talking about. It's always very mentally taxing to like have a discussion with chat on stream. So I always there's usually multiple conversations going on. Like there's multiple people having distinct conversations with me, and then people in chat sometimes talk to each other. So I'll read something and think like, oh, that's a message for me, but it's actually meant for another chatter. And then also on top of that, there's bots. So when I see something that doesn't make sense, I'm like, is this someone spamming? Like, is this some foreign influence operation? And then on top of that, there's crazy people that just say like stuff that makes no sense at all. That does happen occasionally. I get like, and I mean, I don't even know if it's crazy people, but sometimes people stop by and say something that doesn't make any sense. Like they'll ask me about like some event. It's like, how's this thing going with you and this other person that you interacted with? And then I'll be like, I don't know anything about that. And then they'll never chat again. All right, we got a decent amount of wood. Let's go find some more exciting ore to mine. pressure about getting live chat right. It's not easy while you're developing a game in mind. Yeah, it's I mean, it doesn't stress me out. In a way, it's kind of weirdly like addictive or like interesting. It's like the interesting intellectual puzzle of trying to like figure out what people in the chat are talking about and to make sense of the chaos and nonsense. Like there's you might, if you scroll up in the chat, or you may have seen it, there was someone who there's a couple of people that talked about Waymint, which was like a few nights ago. There was like a whole bunch of people, I don't know, I guess maybe people, maybe bots, or like Zoomers who like watch TikTok all day, and they started mentioning like TikTok memes that I'd never heard of before. And it was just I couldn't figure out what they were talking about. And they, for the last few days, they come in and they talk about what getting Waymint instead of payment. And then I looked up that meme, and I can't find many. It's hard to understand it. There's like a couple of references on TikTok, but they don't even seem to make sense with the context of the live stream. And then some other person stopped by and was like, "Bro, can you please cover cover your lens, because it's for an edit. They're going, I guess they want to put me in an edit for some thing, I guess." And it's again, it's a TikTok meme, and it's about some kind of sport. There's some like famous football player or something, and the meme is like, you're talking and then you cover the lens, and he does edits of this guy playing football, which has nothing to do with anything that I talk about on the stream. All right, we got 32 iron picks. I'm a Zoomer, and I have no idea what that meme is supposed to be about. Yeah, the internet is wild, and it's getting wilder. And like I find it just fascinating to learn about like in years prior, there's like the generational divide. There's like, it was possible for like an older person to learn some of the language that young people use, try to become like hip and cool. But now, even if you're like a young person, you might not understand other young people. It's everyone's in their own filter bubble. Whew, I'm starting to feel the heat. Let's read the help menu. Nice seeing your game run. I'm off to what's next. Good on. Were you able to get it to compile on your machine? If so, that's good. There's only a handful of people that I think have actually tried it, but I'm curious if there was any build problems, or there's also one person mentioned there was issues I had with in the make file for creating the J and I library. I had some like hard-coded paths and I had to generalize them, but they should work pretty good now. Social media algorithm basically dictates subcultures, it feels like. Yeah, we're accelerating toward a very interesting future. Who knows where we're going? Right, there's nothing in the help menu that's wrong. Let's see, what other features are there? Now this was the demo that I was having problems with last night. So I go here, close current frame, and it works. See if I can get it to crash. I'll have to study some MOSFETs. Excellent. Build the next generation of semiconductor devices. All right, that seems to work. All right. Let's try on the pure TTY. Oh, is my UI's glitched out tonight? It's weird. It'll randomly. It'll randomly go with like really small text sometimes. So it's like squished and. Very bizarre. Oh, I guess it just won't look very good for everyone on the stream. Some nights when I've done this in the TTY, it actually uses the full screen, but not tonight. Some like a randomization in the screen resolution. That's really annoying. For me, it's full screen. Stopping in to say hi. I hope our day has been great. It is pretty good. I think I may actually be right at the stage to do the next release. I woke up today, fixed some bugs, and this is the first, a few hours when I've been playing it. Then I haven't. Well, I actually did find one bug, but it wasn't major. Although my screen demo doesn't look very good. For some reason, when I switched to the TTY on this, the streaming software doesn't pick up the full resolution sometimes. I made a CPU from rock. Thank you for the YouTube tutorial. No problem. Yeah, that's why I wanted to get the word out there. Make it easier for people to make their own CPUs instead of wasting money buying them all the time. This is nice and fast in the TTY. What is this? This is testing of my terminal-based block mining game in the pure TTY. And unfortunately, when I switch to the TTY, you can see the screen's kind of, it's much smaller. It's not, my streaming software is not picking up the full resolution tonight. It's like random. For some reason, sometimes it'll work and look nice, but do TTYs have widely different default configs? I would say they probably do have widely different default behavior. In terms of configs, well, like an actual TTY is supposed to be like a physical device. So like it's a physical piece of hardware that's separate from the raw computer, but like PTYs, pseudo terminals, or emulated software terminals are they have their own quirks, and they're supposed to they're all technically supposed to implement, some variation of the standard. Yes, hello, this is Agent Bradley reporting for the Calzone PSYOP duty. Always with the Calzone PSYOPs. Yeah, I think tonight is my I'm getting very close to the next release. I think maybe even tomorrow I'll probably package it up and send it out. So that will conclude the development push that I've been doing for the last 60 days. And then I will, because I haven't really focused on much on anything else the last many number of days. I've either been doing my accounting or working on this. So maybe we'll have to check for the nearest Calzone dispensary. I think my dad has a few CRT dumb terminals in his basement. I don't remember what they were. You should check to see what they are. It's if they're like an authentic VT100. You should get them out of the basement so they're not degrading, because there's big money in those old things. Like if you go on, I don't even know what it'll be, but if you go on eBay right now and look up like how much an old VT100 terminal is on eBay, they're pretty pricey. Very collectible. I passed a college course today. 1 out of 42 to get a bachelor's to master's. Excellent. You're getting there. Use them for radio stuff. Interesting. You a software dev or something, man? Yes, I'm in fact a software developer. I write software. Don't forget, you are almost also being dangerous in the last 60 days. Oh yeah, I also made that video. I can look. He wasn't a real computer enthusiast, but got at least a dozen of them many years ago. And I think he's a few left. Yeah, actually, I reread that you said CRT dumb terminals. So I don't know if those are like the VT100, like teletype terminals, but honestly, I think it's probably, for me anyway, it's not like for what they are. There's not really much to them, and they are technically just old junk. But there's a thriving market for like hardcore nerds, like retired engineers who have lots of time and money, and they want to get back into like hobbyist retro computing stuff. So for them to drop like $600 on an authentic 1980s terminal, telesite terminal. It's not a big deal. These are all in one round shape green screen. Yeah, I could probably Google them. There might be some resale value in some of them. To run some of that stuff, like to run older equipment, I think the first thing that goes is the capacitors. So for some of that stuff, if it's like hasn't been powered on in 10 or 20 years, it's probably not a good idea to like just plug it in. I think the safest way is to check it out with a multimeter first and like, I guess, verify the integrity of the power supply mainly, so it doesn't just like fry it. But I think for some of those old components, the capacitors for the power supply have a finite life. But if they need replaced, then probably everything else probably works. A 25-pin serial port. Don't remember what emulation they were. So I want to pay big money. Potentially really enjoy them. Unsure what condition. It's very elderly now. Pre-1990 boards. Also delaminated far more often. Oh, okay. And it also depends on how damp the basement is. If it's damp enough, then it might be all kaput. Yeah, it's possible they're just old junk, but there might be a gold mine. Extremely dry and clean. Excellent. It's too bad my stream output is not right. Whew, it's getting hot in here. They look like the Lear Cycler ADM 3A, and maybe that's what they are. Next time I go over to the house, check them up on eBay right now. See if they're what they go for. If you have the time to screw around with it, then you could always try them out yourself. That could be your main programming environment now. It's old school CRT. Run a serial cable into the server room. Oh, I reached the bottom of the cave at minus 675. Dear Lord, they're $1,300 US for parts. See, I told you. There's think about the demographic who buys that. It's retired engineers who have like lots of money. So you got a gold mine. Last I saw them, they were in great condition. Oh, that's good to hear. The story is a happy ending. I was kind of half thinking that maybe it was an old, like, dingy basement that had floods or something. But if they're in good condition, then sounds like he's collected a gold mine. Yeah, people say you shouldn't buy Bitcoin. Pff, it's nonsense. Buy old CRT monitors. I guess honestly that they're probably expensive in the first place. It'd be interesting to calculate the annualized yield of investing in those. Bought them in the 90s when they were worthless. Yeah, I'm drunk. My country is 5 a.m. What is this stream? So this is, I'm currently testing a video game I'm developing. Let me go into a better view. Let me compile it and I'll show you what the game looks like. Let me go back into the folder. So I'll compile it. So I was just testing the terminal-based block mining game, which is a video game I've been working on for a while, where you can simulate the process of mining blocks of iron ore and other minerals in the Linux terminal. And I'm thinking about doing a release soon. And just doing some testing here. So here's what the game looks like. So you move around an infinite grid of, and you can mine blocks in an infinite procedural map. Use them for ham radio, which annoyed me. It's funny how all you have to do is buy the right things at the right times, and it'll be worth a bunch. Unless you buy the wrong things and then lose everything. Sounds like rappers should start wearing gold VT100 necklace charms. Yeah, I think you're onto something. We'll run your game on one of them if it works. Yeah, theoretically you could. TBH, it sounds like they're about $2,000. So in great condition, probably worth for him to sell if he needs the money. Yeah, if he's not planning to use them, I guess the question is like, if it makes sense to save them for decoration or nostalgia, but if they're just like taking up space, it might make sense to just throw it up on eBay. Like if you're considering throwing them out or something, just throw them up on eBay for like, figure out what they're worth, and if it's a couple grand, put it up for a couple grand, and maybe you'll get lucky. It's cool. I very, very like people who have a project and believe in this project. Have fun, bro, and never give up. Thank you for the kind words. I made Joe, you have a duty to save them if they're mechanical pieces. I wouldn't even trust to ship them. Should probably drive to the buyer. Yeah, I guess if you're since you're in a related field, it might make sense to keep them, and even just for decoration. There are a surprising number of eBay sellers that sell stuff and then like they don't care about the nostalgia value of stuff, package it poorly, and it all gets destroyed for no reason. have a car battery charger from the 1960s. Uses a transformer and a half-bridge rectifier. It's probably better than everything that's built today. That was back when we were in the peak of electrical engineering. I'll find out what they are. They may be gone. They may also be knockoffs. Yeah, maybe you maybe hit the gold mine. No real overcurrent protection. I guess that's kind of a design flaw. Fif 50 hertz is, I think, European, and I think North American's 60. How's the game going? It's going good. I'm just testing it, trying to crash it and stuff tonight. Actually, maybe I'll try some things that I don't try often. The resizing stuff is a big potential source of crashes. I think I may be able to do a release in the next couple of days. Give it to me, I'll crash it, no matter what. Once I, well, I guess you can clone the latest on GitHub. Yeah, actually, I think there's only one new bug I fixed, and it was where it was mining the incorrect number of blocks. But other than that, I think it's pretty stable. When microtransactions, there's a few things I need to get in the game first. I think multiplayer is a really big, important feature. I think there's also a lot of design stuff. I did a massive overhaul to support like better rendering, have a better rendering pipeline, and all the frame UI stuff. And so that's where the 60 days went. And then I guess it would probably be like another good 60 days or something to do multiplayer in a good way. Like I already have a basic kind of garbage multiplayer. But every player, like as it is right now, if you run that other client, if you run multiple clients, every client is controlling the same player. So there needs to be a system for actually like so the server has to actually support like isolation between the players. I guess there should also be a permission system for that or something, so you can't just like send a packet and control another player. Made a multiplayer ASCII game, you would make millions. Hopefully. what you're going to do once you have dominated the world. That'll be the best part. Then I can just end all the wars, and then I'll make it mandatory that everyone needs to use Linux and learn how to use the command line. And the only major in university will be engineering. Everyone has to be an engineer. There's no other majors. But I guess, and if you want to do another major, it has to be somehow formulated as a branch of engineering. If you want to do art, you have to do art engineering. If you want to be a doctor, you have to be like human engineering. Honestly, I took a course. That course I had to retake a biology course. I ended up taking it was human physiology, and that apparently I learned during that course that's like a pre-med course, and a lot of people who want to become doctors take that course. And it kind of opened my eyes to how not rigorous at all medicine is as a profession. Like, it's almost like everything is these massive multiple choice quizzes. And it almost seems like it's designed to filter out anyone who questions facts or has analytical, investigative thinking. The medical profession actually kind of scares me a little bit. I think it's kind of a meme to be cynical about how the healthcare industry is broken, but it seems to be the brokenness is getting worse and accelerating. NKTR to the moon tomorrow. Is that some cryptocurrency or a stock? All my kids will be engineers. Excellent. It's a stock. That's good. I don't like cryptocurrency promoters, but stocks. Thing is, if something happens, if you trade a stock and your account gets hacked, you can actually call someone and get them to, the police will take you seriously if someone hacked your stock account. But if you call the police and say hey, someone stole all my Bitcoin, they'll just laugh at you. Google and Amazon calls for me. The ceasefire really was timely. Yeah, I hope all your trades are super successful and you make $1 billion. I tried day trading. That was actually my first thing I did when I was 19 or so. I think I talked about this on stream before. But it's hard. it's hard to do it consistently accurately. I guess it also doesn't help that I didn't have a lot of money at the time. I only had like, I think $5,000 I was trading with. So the frictional fees, like back then it was like $10 for a trade. %50 chance in KTR 5x or 15x tomorrow. Interesting. If I had money, I could invest it, but 50% chance it drops 25%. Well, the risk-adjusted rate of return sounds good. So much nicer now with free trades. Yeah, I haven't actually traded in years. The last thing I did, the last major trade I tried was I went big on that natural gas futures, which turned out to not. The pipeline got blown up, but then against all odds, I lost money. Are there any rare minerals or metals in this game? No, I've decided to focus out on natural minerals. So like no fictional ones. I've kind of thought about like if I actually do end up getting more content in the game, I'd probably focus it on simulation of like real world stuff. Of course, the implementation is it would be easy to add like fictional stuff. But I'll probably just start off with like natural minerals. So anything with cast numbers. So I even have, in fact, the actual representation. I'm going to use that as the standard. So the actual block data is the cast number, the chemical number. And then I'll make that consistent as I add new blocks. And then, if I get around to it, actually maybe simulate some chemistry and some of the make it true to its name. Actually have some real like mining concepts in the game. Hello, Mr. Software. What are you making? I'm working on a terminal-based video game where you simulate the process of mining blocks of iron ore and other minerals. So I can mine blocks like this in an infinite procedurally generated universe. Do you foresee it opening up to be something where you utilize raw minerals for products or processes, maybe like Factorio? I've actually never played Factorio. Maybe something like that, but we'll see where it goes. I think honestly, the actual gameplay mechanics like that are kind of like the easiest thing to add. Right now, the things I'm focused on adding to the game are more like generic systems. So the first thing I did was just getting this whole frame concept in the help menu, and I think that stuff is pretty fundamental for just being able to interact with it. Because if I can't open up a new frame and stuff, then you can't really do much with the game. Heading out. Thank you. Yeah, I'm probably gonna call it a night as well. This was a successful test. We verified that the game doesn't crash. Mine some blocks. So yeah, I'm kind of at this moment. I'll probably wake up and just do another couple of tests tomorrow. See if I can think about any new things to test. But I think all those major UI glitches have been resolved. You'll be able to refine mine blocks into favorite Linux commands. Yeah, I've been thinking about have some stuff like that in it. Like you can, have blocks in the game that represent the Linux commands or something. We'll see. Lots of ideas, but I got to get this packaged up to actually ship something, and then from there we'll figure out the next step. Anyway, I will probably leave it there. Did you use any libraries for this? GUI, all stuff. It's basically all from scratch. Yeah, there's no libraries except for I use SQLite for the database, and I'm using Spring Boot. So the Java Spring. It's in Java. And then a few other random things like JSON libraries and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Anyway, I will leave it there for tonight, and I guess we'll be back tomorrow night for day 61. Talk to you later, guys.